The story begins with a mysterious opening. Legends tell of a stranger from a distant land. He possesses powers mixed between divine and demonic. For half a century, he conquered the entire continent. The people tremble at the mere mention of his name. He is the emperor ruling the Anu Empire, a being beyond comprehension, the immortal king of the undead realm. All creatures bow before Kang Jun, the rebel-turned-immortal slave. Even dragons that once spread terror submitted to him. The Demon King and the Seven Dukes of Hell also served him. Leaders of demon clans and martial sect masters bowed in obedience. Even the guardian gods of the world tree could not compare. No one reached his level. When all worlds bowed, mortals could not grasp Kang Jun's true desire. All he wanted was to return to Earth, his homeland. One day, he declared before all people to heed the king's decree. After crossing countless worlds without finding the way home, Kang Jun summoned all his subjects to speak his final words. He calmly confessed with despair that he only wished for eternal rest. His attendants panicked and begged, but Kang Jun had given up hope of returning. He said 3 centuries had passed, and all his loved ones now lay beneath graves. Realizing he had lived too long, his words made everyone collapse before him. Without letting anyone speak, he firmly announced his decision. He ordered the ritual to end his life, seeking eternal sleep. As he turned away, the grand hall fell into shock and sorrow. That day, the palace was filled with weeping, yet no one dared defy the emperor. The mages formed a destructive spell array. As the formation activated, he appeared within the circle as if destined. He smiled in relief, saying he would soon reunite with the old ones, then stepped into the array's core. When the magic circle spun, light surged around his body. Kabli screamed in despair, running to call the emperor's name. The loyal attendant Capsley, trembling, still vowed to follow his master to the end. Kang Jun kept walking without looking back. Capsley resolutely leapt in with him, accepting to vanish in endless magic. The mystical light activated, shining through the space. Their bodies were engulfed in that dazzling brilliance. And then it all seemed to reach its end. Dunzo thought it was over, but heard a voice rising amid the blinding light. He flinched and covered himself, startled like prey before a predator. Kang Jun sternly reminded him not to sit in the dark and to turn on the light. He gently carried Seola and slowly walked into the room. Dunzo sighed wearily, excusing that even a single light is precious in darkness. Kang Jun coldly scolded that if he truly repented, he should stay silent. Quick-witted, Dunzo changed the subject, asking why the emperor hadn't slept. Kang Jun replied he must wait for the girl to sleep first. The words made Dunzo pale, stammering an apology, afraid to wake Seola. But before he could finish, sobbing sounds echoed. Seola burst into tears, her small cries throwing everyone into panic. Both froze awkwardly, then hurried to soothe her. Kang Jun complained while Dunzo guessed she was hungry, but he denied it since she'd eaten. Finally, Dunzo gave up, calling himself useless. Kang Jun gently gestured for Seola to calm down and be quiet. Dunzo resumed his daily record-keeping as usual. Each line he wrote felt as heavy as a dying breath. Suddenly, an urgent shout echoed outside the door. When he heard it was about a midnight meal, his eyes lit up. His energy instantly surged. He surrendered to instinct, determined to devour his favorite fried chicken. A gust of wind blew, scattering papers everywhere. The last sheet fell, revealing an old record. Thanks to the ritual's failure, Kang Jun had unintentionally returned to the home he longed for. But in this world without love or family, someone was waiting for him. It was that tiny little princess. On the table, fried chicken and Coca-Cola released an irresistible aroma. Dunzo praised endlessly, showering Subin with compliments. Subin smiled happily, telling everyone to eat plenty. Then she turned to care for Seola, softly telling Kang Jun to eat while she looked after the child. Kang Jun honestly said he felt calm and no longer confused. Even so, Subin still worried, insisting that after all he'd been through, he couldn't be fine. He reassured her in a steady tone, but Subin emotionally told him not to act strong, that just living was enough. Her words reminded her of the terrible incident when he vanished in the first portal explosion. She sighed that after being trapped for so many years, it was no surprise he hadn't adjusted. Kang Jun patiently explained he wasn't trapped, but summoned to the Anu continent. But Subin thought he was imagining it, laughing that he'd tell more about being emperor there. Kang Jun emphasized it was true, though to others he was just a jobless man returned home. Subin gave in, changing the topic to his companion. Dunzo immediately introduced himself as Satya von Zagrapsli. He briefly said he had been the emperor's right hand in governance, though now just a worker like Kang Jun. Hearing that, Subin felt awkward but tried to show sympathy. She comforted herself that most portal returnees suffered psychological trauma. Finally, she softly concluded the two were merely slightly delusional. Her words left Kang Jun speechless, feeling deeply insulted. He angrily questioned her, while Subin soothed him, saying he just hadn't adapted yet. Though unconvinced, she encouraged him that he still had Seola and a future ahead, promising to help him recover. She even generously let Dunzo stay over, making him tearfully thank her non-stop. At that moment, Kang Jun noticed Seola's actions. The little girl smiled innocently for help, her teary eyes melting everyone's hearts. He immediately realized the issue and volunteered to help the girl handle it. That act reminded him of his glorious days executing rebels. Seola innocently mimicked her father's motion while he calmly saw it as a child's small lesson. He carefully demonstrated how to tie the knot, confidently showing Seola. The result was the stuffed chicken becoming the sacrifice, making Subin scream to stop him. She panicked, shouting what kind of lesson he was teaching, while he truly didn't understand her reaction. Subin cut in, telling him to stop and wipe the child's face, leaving Kang Jun sighing that fatherhood wasn't easy. Despite complaining, he obediently did as she said. From afar, the scene appeared warm and full of fatherly affection. Subin felt relieved seeing Seola radiant and happy under her father's care. He stood, gently holding the girl, saying he'd put her to bed. Seola's room was filled with an innocent and pure scent. Kang Jun laid her on the bed, carefully covering her with a blanket. He gazed at her for a long time, moved that this was the child born while he was lost away. He recalled Subin telling him that Seola's mother had died giving birth while he vanished without a trace. Kang Jun fell silent, for in his memory that had happened 3 centuries ago. Subin was also stunned, then forced a smile, saying that no matter what, the girl was still his daughter, so he should love her deeply. He smiled softly, feeling relieved and happier than ever. Before, Dunzo once asked what he'd do if he could return home. At that time, it was both his hope and his heartache. He had said he only wished for a simple, peaceful life unnoticed by others. And now, that once distant dream was becoming reality, a small home and a little child. He was gradually blending into normal life, realizing simple happiness was the most precious thing. While standing up, he suddenly noticed a strange stack of papers on the table. His eyes were instantly drawn to it. The words on it made him frown. It was an overdue debt notice. The next afternoon, he solemnly declared that a serious problem might be coming. Dunzo asked in confusion, but Kang Jun kept the calm demeanor of a model father. He smiled and played with Seola during the meal, while Dunzo guessed the trouble was related to the pile of debt papers. Kang Jun coldly ordered him to read all the contents aloud. Dunzo swallowed hard, hands trembling as he opened the papers, feeling great pressure. They were all service termination notices for unpaid bills, electricity, water, gas, and telecom listed in full. Kang Jun signaled to stop, saying that was enough. He understood the situation. Dunzo cautiously confirmed, asking if that paper was indeed a debt letter. Kang Jun calmly admitted it was, and as expected, their family finances were in terrible shape. But Dunzo, still thinking like in the imperial days, found it absurd that anyone dared demand money from royalty and suggested taxing the nobles. Kang Jun couldn't help but burst into laughter. He laughed loudly, teasing that there were no nobles left to tax, making Dunzo nervously address him as Your Majesty. He sighed, explaining to him that times had changed and his status now meant nothing. He fully understood his low position in the current social hierarchy. In this world, he was just an ordinary laborer working to survive. His words deeply shocked Dunzo. He recalled his glorious past as a pure-blooded vampire of royal lineage. He had once ruled a vast territory as a lord, and had been granted the title of Grand Duke for his remarkable achievements. Now everything had collapsed, leaving him just a servant in a foreign world. He reassured himself to remain loyal despite harsh circumstances. Soon regaining composure, he vowed to help the emperor rebuild the empire. Kang Jun calmly replied, "As you wish." Despite that, Kang Jun was determined to make a living and start anew. Suddenly, Seola's clear voice rose in protest about something. Even though Kang Jun tried to coax her, she stubbornly refused to eat, making Subin wonder why. He remembered a parenting tip: when a child refuses to eat, turn the meal into a game. He leaned down and gently invited Seola to play along. He challenged her to a race. Whoever finished eating first could choose a game with His Majesty. The challenge instantly excited the little girl. Thanks to that, Subin could calmly feed her without trouble. Kang Jun grinned slyly, eyes gleaming with triumph at his plan's success. A flash of his past battles in hell crossed his mind, where he had risen through sheer power. He smirked slightly and murmured, "Sorry, but at that pace you'll never beat me." Snapping out of thought, Kang Jun grabbed his chopsticks and ate rapidly like a storm. He chewed while talking, looking like a talking food grinder chatting with Seola. He threw out a bold taunt, saying she'd never beat her father at that speed. His blunt, dry words left the little girl stunned. Then tears began streaming down her tender cheeks. Subin panicked, hugging the child and scolding her brother for making her cry. Kang Jun defended himself, saying it wasn't on purpose, while Subin sighed helplessly, thinking he did it deliberately. The room fell silent as he solemnly lectured that if something felt unfair, one must become stronger. As a result, Seola cried even louder despite Subin's desperate attempts to soothe her. The chaotic scene was recorded by Dun So in his journal. This morning, the emperor challenged the princess to an eating duel, fought fiercely, and claimed victory. He concluded pessimistically, "The empire's future looks bleak." Later, while Subin was cleaning, Kang Jun asked if he could go out today. The question surprised her, as she didn't understand the sudden request. She said she had the day off and could watch Seola, but warned him not to go alone. Understanding her concern, Dunzo immediately volunteered to accompany and protect him. This action left Subin confused, unsure whether to be glad or worried. Eventually, the three got into the car, beginning a small trip. Kang Jun sat quietly, gazing out the window with a sorrowful look. Subin's choked voice still echoed in his mind. She confessed she was nearly broke and had to live in a dangerous area due to cheap rent. When Kang Jun asked how much she needed, she forced a smile, joking that winning a 10 billion lottery would be perfect. Then she could move to a safer home and fully care for Seola. Because the girl was at the age that needed love most. Seeing her sad expression, Kang Jun only sighed. At least this problem could be solved with money. Then he turned to Dunzo, saying that to blend into this world he needed a new name. His words stunned Dunzo, who asked again in disbelief. Kang Jun calmly confirmed that from now on he would no longer use his old noble name. Dunzo waited nervously, then froze when Kang Jun declared, "Your name will be Choi Donzeo." He began mumbling, mind spinning at the strange name he'd just heard. When Kang Jun asked again, he hurriedly denied any complaint, though suspicion remained on the emperor's face. The name Donzeo had once symbolized loyalty and resilience. Donzeo hastily expressed his honor in receiving the new title. Kang Jun smiled in response, secretly relieved it was still better than his previous idea. When the car stopped, Kang Jun signaled him to get out, saying they'd arrived. He looked around in confusion, asking where they were going. Kang Jun proudly replied that today they were going to the gate. Hearing that, Donzeo was overjoyed to visit the place where monsters gathered. When asked why, he cryptically said that a sword must be drawn to stay shining. He longed for the thrill of battle after so long without fighting. However, Kang Jun crushed his hopes, saying today they were only there for porter work. He froze, unable to believe his ears. Kang Jun explained that monster hunting required a license costing 1 million credits. Donzeo immediately knelt, begging to pay the full fee on his master's behalf. The onlookers whispered, embarrassing Kang Jun, who quickly told him to stop. But Donzeo remained resolute, swearing he wouldn't let his master do menial labor. Kang Jun had to glare threateningly to force him to stand up. Terrified, he realized disobedience would only bring disaster. So he bowed his head, apologizing and rising to his feet. Kang Jun gently patted his shoulder, praising his loyalty. Kang Jun reassured him that porter work still paid well enough with a few days of effort. Suddenly, a strange voice interrupted their conversation. Bong timidly asked if they were the group registered as D-rank gate porters today. In front of them stood a deep purple gate, guarded tightly by soldiers. Despite the grand scene, the group appeared indifferent. Kang Jun noticed that even though the gate was open, people passed by calmly as if nothing unusual. Bong added that 2 new members would join their team this time. Byung-chun grew annoyed seeing only an old man and a frail-looking youth. Donzeo politely replied, asserting that his body was still strong and flexible. The man cut him off, showing clear disdain. He mocked that even strong young men struggled with this job. Donzeo apologized for his manners, but then asked Kang Jun if he could kill the rude ones. Kang Jun restrained him, saying they must endure a few days to earn money for the permit. His words snapped Donzeo back to his senses, realizing he almost acted rashly. While he was still dazed, Kang Jun stepped forward to ask who the team leader was. Bong awkwardly raised his hand, admitting he was the leader. After a brief exchange, Kang Jun assured they were capable and wouldn't slow progress. Bong hesitated, uncertain about what decision to make. He thought about his mother and brother urgently needing money that week. Reassuring himself, Bongu turned to ask his teammates for their opinions on accepting new members. Byung-chun objected, saying it was just a D-rank gate and unnecessary. But after hearing about his teammates' financial troubles, he reluctantly agreed. That eased Bonga's mind, while Byung-chun excused it by saying extra porters could still be useful. The comment made Kang Jun realize one person was still missing. Byung-chun turned and shouted angrily at a teammate for taking too long to buy coffee. The scolded man rushed over, apologizing to everyone. The sight of him serving coffee made Kang Jun smirk, clearly seeing the lowly status of low-rank hunters. After some introductions, the team began preparing for action. Byung-chun shouted loudly, urging everyone to take their positions. He unfairly assigned heavy loads to weaker ones, causing dissatisfaction among the team. They were harshly scolded into silence, unwilling to cause trouble. Byung-chun glared at Kang Jun, barking a cryptic remark that made him frown. He warned that once inside the gate, everyone had to fend for themselves, no one would save anyone. He even hurled rude words at Donzeo, who struggled to contain his anger. After the man walked away, another teammate offered to take the heavy load to ease the tension. He said he was an E-rank awakened, so he could help carry gear. Kang Jun agreed immediately, not wanting further arguments. But he stayed still, staring at the man and making him uneasy. He said he only wanted to work quietly without trouble, then sternly told the man to keep pretending to be weak as before. He advised him to stay silent, finish the job, and return safely. After speaking, Kang Jun pulled Donzeo along, and he cheerfully followed. The group moved toward the spatial gate to begin their mission. Since it was Kang Jun's first time, he curiously asked about the entry procedure. The inspector confirmed Bonga's C-rank team had scheduled entry at the gate near Guro Station, but added a warning. He cautioned that although it was a D-rank gate, recent deaths there had been unusually frequent. Bongu grew anxious, but hearing it wasn't considered too dangerous, reluctantly agreed. The group's tension rose as they stood before the open gate. All 5 silently stared into the swirling energy ahead. Mustering his courage, Bong stepped into the gate first. His large figure quickly vanished into the violet light. The other 2 immediately followed after him. Kang Jun and Donzeo stepped in as well, with the latter cheerfully responding to his master. The gate instantly swallowed all 5 of them whole. In the thick darkness, the system announced data scanning and power assessment, but it failed to measure Kang Jun's stats. When light returned, they found themselves in the middle of a terrifying dead forest. Byung-chun cautiously asked about undead monsters, while Bong reassured him and ordered a quick cleanup. Walking behind, Kang Jun was surprised to see a system interface appear before his eyes. The long status window left him stunned, unsure what was happening. Glancing through the stats, he grew irritated at how inaccurately the system rated his true power. He sneered inwardly, finding those titles ridiculous. When he saw SS rank Soul Summoner Grand Mage, memories of his dark magic training flooded back. Reading SS rank Dimensional Invader, he recalled the spatial disruption incident when he arrived on Earth. The flood of memories gave him a headache, especially upon seeing SS rank Demon Slayer, reminding him of the countless demons he had slain. Each title made him sigh slightly, such as S-rank Dragon Slayer, the reward from last year's battle. Kang Jun laughed at the title S-rank World Tree Thief, justifying that he only moved the tree for convenience, not expecting it to wither. The rush of memories only deepened his curiosity about his true abilities. When he noticed the emotionless trait, he realized his current level was too low to summon former subordinates. Instead of feeling disappointed, he became excited, imagining summoning the entire Royal Legion once he leveled up. His distraction angered Byung-chun, who scolded him for being careless in a dangerous place. Kang Jun admitted his mistake and calmly ordered the group to keep moving forward. That simple command lifted everyone's spirits as they advanced deeper into the Death Forest, unaware of the lurking threat. A worried voice warned of an ominous feeling around them. Byung-chun advised finishing quickly and retreating, and Bongu agreed. Kang Jun, at the rear, asked if they just needed to stick to the path ahead. Danzeo acted strangely, softly saying the place felt oddly comforting. He sensed his body and mind rejuvenating, and Kang Jun smiled approvingly. A thought flashed in Kang Jun's mind: this might be the territory of Andes beasts. He compared the scenery to the Forbidden Deadlands on the Anu continent. A smirk appeared as he felt thrilled after such a long, dull life. Byung-chun suddenly signaled the group to halt. He whispered an order to prepare for battle, and Bong immediately took a defensive stance. The team advanced cautiously through the eerie gloom. Magical energy in Bong's hands began to glow. From the shadows, armored skeletons slowly emerged. Bong gathered power and launched the first strike. One skeleton was hit and instantly shattered. The rest turned their heads, readying to counterattack. Kang Jun observed in surprise, realizing it was genuine magic. Bong continued attacking with several more waves. Kang Jun folds his arms, intrigued by the scene. He notes that Bong's power is still weak but acceptable. After a few minutes, all skeletons are wiped out. Bong wipes his sweat and orders to collect magic stones before moving on. Everyone follows, gathering all dropped items. Someone grumbles in frustration about the endless monsters. Kang Jun casts support spells from the rear while Byung-chun blocks with his shield in front. He blocks attacks while shouting angrily in battle. Kang Jun sternly warns him to stay alert. Byung-chun snaps back, calling him rude. Kang Jun calmly states that there's a hidden archer among the enemies. Byung-chun doubts him, saying he's talking nonsense. But moments later, arrows rain down, making him curse through gritted teeth. An arrow suddenly slips through his shield's gap. Byung-chun shouts in panic, and Bongu quickly turns around. Both stare wide-eyed as the arrow flies toward Kang Jun, but Kang Jun calmly catches it mid-air. He mutters in disbelief at his own reflexes. Everyone is stunned, and Byung-chun yells it was just luck. Kang Jun throws the arrow down and orders everyone to regroup. He grumbles that surviving just to earn a living is too risky. Bongu pants and questions if he really almost died. He begins to doubt what truly happened. Bongus' gaze lingers on the arrow, sensing something strange. A loud noise suddenly erupts ahead, startling the group. A troop of skeletal cavalry charges, and Bong readies to counterattack. He quickly forms a magic circle and fires it at the enemy. Byung-chun raises his shield, bracing for impact. The battle turns fierce, clearly uneven between both sides. Danzeo trembles and softly calls his master. Kang Jun jokes about throwing stones, making him pale and beg to stop. He laughs teasingly while Danzeo pleads to just die instead. One man in the group eyes Kang Jun with hatred, hand reaching for his weapon. He pretends calm, but his eyes flash with killing intent and arrogance. He secretly wonders if Kang Jun is a spy from the other side. Kang Jun asks Danzeo what hell picked next. The man panics and insists on fairness, so Kang Jun declares rock, while Danzeo quickly says scissors. A member of the anti-hero alliance shakes his head, saying the Bureau would never send such a lunatic. His hand slowly slides toward the hidden weapon. He tells himself he'll strike in just a moment. At that instant, a skeleton collapses to the ground. Byung-chun realizes it's probably the last one. Bong sighs in relief, announcing the battle's end. He wipes his sweat and cheerfully calls the group to return. Suddenly, the anti-hero alliance member panics and points ahead. A shadowy structure gradually appears through the mist. As the fog clears, an ancient castle reveals itself before them. The system suddenly pops up, startling Kang Jun. A message announces they've unlocked Hidden Dungeon, Monastery of the Demon Worshippers. Bongu reads the text thoughtfully, realizing it's a rare chance. Hidden dungeons often contain treasures or rare items. They may hold spellbooks, treasures, or even forbidden magic artifacts. With luck, they might find elixirs from another world. Bonga's eyes shine, thinking of a potion that could save his mother. He knows the auction price is far beyond his reach, making this his only chance. After some hesitation, he asks the group what to do with this dungeon. Byung-chun ponders, knowing reporting it to the Bureau would lose their rights to it. Eventually, he suggests boldly clearing it themselves, making others doubt their strength. Bongu reassures them it's only a D-rank hidden dungeon, manageable enough. Byung-chun thinks it's not bad either. He eagerly agrees, declaring they'll enter, imagining early retirement if successful. Then Byung-chun turns to ask Kang Jun and the others for their opinion. Kang Jun calmly poses a question. He asks about extra pay and bonus rewards. The man raises his hand, offering 5 times the normal payment. They all weigh the risks carefully while Kang Jun calculates the reward. Finally, he decides to join the anti-hero group. After confirmation, Byung-chun gives the order and Bong-woo rallies the charge. The anti-hero team advances with heavy gear. A sly smile spreads across his face. As they near the castle, they sense a chilling atmosphere. Bongu touches the door and signals to enter. The door slowly opens wide. The hinges creak as Bong-woo remarks how dark it is. As they move in, the door slams shut behind them. They panic upon realizing they're trapped inside. Torches on both sides suddenly flare to life. The man rushes to the door, trying to escape. He shouts for someone to try reopening it. Byung-chun stammers that it won't budge. They push hard, but realize they must clear the dungeon to exit. Bongu wipes his sweat and tells them to keep moving forward. Danzo calms everyone, preparing to use talismans or force if needed. The deeper they go, the stranger it feels with no monsters in sight. Suddenly, Bongu gasps and screams. Bi-chun startles and asks, as everyone freezes at the scene. A blood-soaked field of small corpses lies before them. Bongu trembles while Bi-chun guesses a massacre once happened here. A grotesque creature appears, terrifying them all. Kang Jun stays calm, recalling he's seen something similar before. Bongu spots strange runes carved on a stone slab. He signals Danzo to try decoding the symbols. The man steps closer, confirming it's a demon world language. He adjusts his glasses in surprise, ready to read the inscription. He begins decoding, saying they must pass a trial to prove worthiness, worrying Bi-chun. He deduces the trial might have been the previous battle since the Guardians are dead. Danzo reads that 10 living sacrifices are required to prove loyalty. Everyone is horrified, thinking it's madness. He continues reading about a dark warden who descends and grants life only to his chosen. Danzo adjusts his glasses, noting it's a high-level demon summoning spell. Bi-chun yells angrily, calling his words nonsense. Danzo points to the candles and starts explaining. He says they are Geomwa hellfire fueled by life force, never extinguished. He adds each candle consumes 1 person's life energy and 9 of 10 have burned. Bi-chun realizes 1 more sacrifice will complete the ritual, Danzo confirms. The man panics, asking if they truly believe this. An anti-hero member urges them to decide quickly. He laughs eerily, mocking them for planning to die together, confusing Bi-chun. Jungi coldly says someone must die for the rest to live. The group falls into shock at his words. He stays silent, then bursts into maniacal laughter. Bi-chun yells furiously, unable to believe he can laugh now. Bongu trembles at the chaos unfolding. The anti-hero member defends himself, saying he's laughing at their misery. He narrows his eyes, asking who among them is the useless one to sacrifice. Another protests, insisting they can all survive if they find a solution. Kang Jun and Danzo stay silent, only watching. Bi-chun, sweating, suggests the oldest one should be sacrificed. The man glances back after hearing that. Danzo nervously wonders if they mean him due to his unusual lifespan. He suddenly realizes they might be referring to his master, over 300 years old. He immediately whispers to his master that the group intends to target him. One of them bluntly points out the suspected person. Donzoi reacts in confusion and fear, not understanding why. He stays quiet, trying to appear normal. Kang Jun intervenes, ordering silence and warning against rash judgments. Bai Chun snaps, mocking him for lecturing about morality in crisis. One man slaps the wall, blaming himself and urging calm. Bai Chun coldly replies that if he wants to be a hero, he can die first. Bongu stares in disbelief at his words. The accused scoffs, challenging anyone to object. Laughter echoes through the dark hall. One man laughs, saying desperation reveals true evil. The other angrily retorts, admitting his intentions from the start. The villain smirks, confirming he planned to kill them all along. He begins gathering black energy into a sphere. The surrounding corpses decay further as the force drains their remaining life. All the corpses suddenly rise at once. Bongu panics, guessing it's a soul-summoning spell, while Bai Chun relaxes, seeing they're not too strong. The man proudly reveals his part of the anti-Bureau faction. The group is stunned, unable to grasp the situation. He claims to be an A rank, far above ordinary fighters. The revelation shocks everyone, some collapsing in disbelief. Bai Chun immediately recalls the Bureau responsible for maintaining order. He concludes the man is a Bureau assassin from their Hunter division. Bai Chun curses under his breath, calculating their odds. He grows more anxious, realizing they face an A-rank killer. Bongu, enraged, urges them to fight while others lose willpower. The enemy smirks, telling them to accept fate until a calm voice interrupts. Kang Jun softly reminds him it's not time to kill yet since debts remain unpaid. He drops his bag and suggests continuing their little play. The opponent warily asks Kang Jun's origin, suspicious of him. He coldly replies he's from a place called Super Lim Rong. The man, irritated, presses further about how he arrived. Kang Jun simply says he took a direct train from the Super Spirit Station. The man loses patience, calling him useless. Kang Jun calmly replies hell's still answer. Someone in the group questions why summon a demon at all. The man steps forward, preparing the summoning ritual. He declares himself one of the 72 Demon Lords Grand Duke Macbat. The name sparks Kang Jun's curiosity about that title. The man vows to form a pact with Macbat to prove loyalty. At that moment, everything clicks, and Kang Jun understands. The anti-hero boasts hell-wield Macbat's power with his allies, while the name triggers Kang Jun's memories. He keeps ranting about remaking the world as Kang Jun recalls the demon realm he once visited. Kang Jun remembers having destroyed nearly all 72 demon gods. He wonders if this one is among the few that survived. The anti-hero laughs arrogantly, claiming his actions serve justice. He ecstatically declares that everyone must die. The undead horde charges forward. Bai Chun cries in despair, lamenting they'll die in vain. Bongu bows his head, admitting his greed caused this. Kang Jun calmly replies that everyone dies, but not today, stunning them. He steps forward slowly, his deep voice echoing. Kang Jun coldly says the man should pay him before dying. Bongu sweats and grits his teeth, raising his head. Before him, Kang Jun unleashes overwhelming power. Bongu is shocked, unable to believe what he sees. The anti-hero's eyes widen in terror, realizing Kang Jun wields dark magic. He trembles as the energy far surpasses anything he's known. A beam of energy shoots past, nearly piercing his eye. In his final sight, he sees Kang Jun's cold face reflected in his pupil. A horrifying scream echoes through the chamber. He trembles, stammering pleas for death to spare him, then collapses, muttering over and over, "Must run." Kang Jun looks at him with disdain and commands Grabsley. Donzoi immediately steps forward, replying, "Yes, my master." Kang Jun lowers his voice, issuing an order that forces all enemies to submit. Everyone obeys, feeling power far beyond human limits. Dark energy in the air swirls ever more violently. The anti-hero trembles as Donzoi proclaims his master ruler of life and death. The voice echoes like a divine decree, forcing all to kneel before the Emperor of Death. The undead all bow low. No one dares resist the absolute command. All kneel before Kang Jun, worshipping him like a god. The sight leaves Bongu stunned, heart pounding, ears ringing with, "I'm sorry." The anti-hero collapses, trembling and begging for mercy. Kang Jun says quietly that he's simply tired of everything. He admits he just wants to live as an ordinary man, not one burdened by titles. Then he sits across from the man, eyes both cold and sorrowful. He lifts the man's chin and whispers quietly. His eyes suddenly glow crimson. That energy spreads quickly to the remaining Alliance members. Don Zoe instantly recognizes it as his master's demonic eye. He explains its supreme illusion magic that drives victims insane, its power scaling with rank. Hell manifests grotesquely as countless demon guards pour from his body. Bongu swallows hard, unable to comprehend what's happening. The Alliance member writhes, clutching his stomach in agony. Bongu approaches, trying to see his face. The man looks back in shock, asking why he's still standing. He warns coldly if Bongu wants to end up like him. Bongu recoils, shaking his head in denial. Kang Jun issues an ultimatum as Don Zoe bows, apologizing. Don Zoe cruelly suggests killing the man to silence him. Kang Jun indifferently refuses, saying he's already sealed him. Don Zoe asks if they can summon the demon to leave. Kang Jun agrees if not, kill it and find their own way out. Kang Jun signals and prepares to act first. The subordinates swiftly restrain the unconscious Alliance member. They lay him on the stone altar as ritual chants echo around. One raises a blade high, ready to begin the ceremony. Bongu holds his breath, horrified by the bloody scene. Then a radiant surge bursts from Kang Jun. The altar flames turn deep blue. The ground trembles as if quaking. The once lifeless demon statue stirs with breath. Kang Jun watches closely and remarks, "An impressive debut." A dark voice fills the air, recounting centuries of humiliation. The voice recounts the day his brethren were slaughtered, leaving him exiled as the lone survivor. After losing to Kang Jun, he weakened and drifted across dimensions, plotting revenge. The voice's resurgence makes Kang Jun's trio tremble as its power returns and answers the summoning. It challenges who dares form a pact with Macbat Demon, King of the Hellgate, one of the 72 supreme powers. He boasts this place is perfect for restoring his power and vengeance, demanding the pact be accepted. Before he finishes, Kang Jun coldly interrupts, saying he just remembered something. The Demon King grows suspicious, finding that voice disturbingly familiar. Kang Jun glares and asks harshly if he was the first to flee that day. He stammers and blurts out the name Bu Si Ren, the Undying. Kang Jun smiles casually, saying he never thought they'd meet again. As he speaks, Macbat sweats heavily, forcing a nervous grin. He gulps and asks why the destroyer of the demon realm is in this small dimension. Kang Jun calmly replies that this is his homeland. The Demon King pretends composure but panics inside, cursing his fate and recalling his narrow escape last time. He remembers the brutal past when all 72 demon lords united and still fell, realizing he can't defeat the Undying One. He resolves to flee and seek surviving allies for future revenge. He immediately kneels before Kang Jun. He begins a dramatic plea, calling him Great King of Death. Kang Jun replies calmly that such formality is unnecessary. The Demon King keeps begging, claiming he was forced to be summoned and never meant to invade the Undying One's homeland. Kang Jun coldly asks if that's true, making him panic and swear to leave forever, hiding in isolation. Kang Jun nods slightly, thoughtful as if understanding. That calmness terrifies the Demon King further. He trembles, asking what Kang Jun means. Kang Jun waves him off, joking that his little sister must be waiting, so hell let him go home early. The Demon King rejoices, bowing again in gratitude and offering repayment. But just as he thinks he's spared, Kang Jun pauses, recalling something amusing. He quotes from Child Rearing Encyclopedia 365. Pets help children grow emotionally, intelligently, and kindly, making everyone dread what's next. The demon tries to stay calm and turn away, but Kang Jun calls him back sharply. Hanmu looks at Hu Yun in confusion, not understanding. Kang Jun coldly orders him to fix it immediately. The demon freezes, apologizes, but is pressed to obey. Rage boils within him, furious at the humiliation. The air grows deathly still and tense. He roars in fury, swearing not to suffer such disgrace. Kang Jun replies indifferently, provoking him to go even wilder. He screams, vowing to remember this humiliation forever. But Kang Jun changes tone, praising him, making him collapse in exhaustion. Kang Jun mocks him, calling him a well-trained dog, with Don Zoe chiming in. He's stunned, unable to believe a former demon lord is being so humiliated. More shocked, she asks if the Science One can shapeshift. He hesitates, confused about the situation. Ying, curious yet cautious, wonders what kind of dog a 3-year-old would like. Unable to endure further, he unleashes full power, declaring himself the Great Demon. He tries to speak more but chokes, left only with the fearsome title of Hell's Gatekeeper, once ruling with 72 peers. Looking at himself, he exclaims, then transforms into C3 Inu, proudly showing his new form. He looks adorable but suspicious, suggesting they test if he suits being a pet. Tai analyzes seriously. Short legs mean poor mobility and stamina, but the master's preference matters most. The demon rages, vowing revenge and demanding his true form back. When Kangjun orders another change, he surprisingly obeys despite earlier defiance. He ends up transforming into nearly every dog breed imaginable. Yet Kangjun remains dissatisfied, demanding more changes. If looks could kill, Kangjun would have died countless times. By now, he's certain he would have been dead many times over. Kangjun tilts his head, asking what's wrong. The demon senses a chill and nervously questions his certainty. Kangjun coldly confirms it, making the demon seethe but endure. Kangjun, losing patience, grits his teeth and orders another pose. The harsh pressure produces an impressive result. This transformation finally pleases everyone. Kangjun praises the cute look, while the demon chokes on humiliation as he's petted. Yet he soon softens, enjoying the affection. The gentle strokes make him feel so good he nearly wags his tail. Kangjun asks Danzo's opinion. He flatters that this form satisfies both sides. Kangjun asks the person in the corner. Bongu eagerly agrees with constant praise. Kangjun, satisfied, orders to head back, while Itan blushes in his arms, conflicted. Bongu watches and softly calls, "Professor." Kangjun looks puzzled as Bongu nods and rummages through his bag. Bongu suggests bringing the corpse for proper disposal before leaving, surprising him. He explains the rules this serious case will involve the Bureau and anti-government alliance. Kangjun quickly calculates he hates trouble and public attention. He admits he's not a hunter, then thanks Bongu for saving him, making the boy flustered and apologetic. Kangjun places a hand on his shoulder, manipulates the moment, and single-handedly takes down the criminal, leaving Bongu stunned. He looks straight into Bongu's eyes and clearly praises him. Well done. Bongu was fully controlled, replying simply that he was doing his duty. Kangjun praised him, acknowledging his quick thinking. Satisfied, Kangjun ordered departure, and the group vanished through the teleport gate. The corner of the building glowed brightly, unnoticed by anyone. Paramedics quickly placed the victim on a stretcher and hurried away. The gate guard read the report and sighed, relieved everyone survived a lightning strike. He excitedly said the corpse was a wanted criminal from the anti-government alliance. The special gate unit would form a team to investigate, and Bongu might need to testify, to which he agreed. Before leaving, the man added the incident would be made public, shocking Bongu. Bongu realized that without Kangjun, they'd be the ones lying motionless. While deep in thought, the gate officer asked if he had undergone a second awakening. He checked the record, confirming Bongu had defeated an anti-government alliance hunter alone. Bongu scratched his head, saying it was just luck. The officer whispered that too much modesty wasn't good, especially since the man had a bounty. Bongu sat up in surprise. He confirmed quietly the man's head was worth hundreds of millions, and the government would pay. Major guilds might also contact him soon, and once the news hit, Bongu would be famous. The officer eagerly read the headline, National Hero Jin Bongu, C-rank rookie defeats A-rank anti-government killer. Hearing that, Bongu felt heavy-hearted. Things were spiraling out of control. His eyes dimmed, filled with tangled thoughts. He silently admitted it was Kangjun who saved them all. Meanwhile, Kangjun scolded Danzo for eating spicy rice cakes as he complained about his burning tongue. Bongu wondered who that man truly was, someone who could slay an A-rank killer effortlessly. Danzo kept eating despite the pain, thinking the food was made by demons. Kangjun asked the puppy if they made it, and it shook its head, reminding Bongu of the monster's desperate plea. He wondered why that man wore a porter's vest. If he were a fugitive, he'd have killed him already. Kangjun excitedly suggested trying ultra-spicy chicken noodles, and Danzo eagerly agreed. Bongu judged that man was at least S-rank, though his true identity remained unclear. He resolved to become that man's disciple to grow stronger and find spiritual medicine. At a street corner, Kang Jun complained about a wrong order. Counting money, he said he paid more than promised. Bongu excused it as repayment for saving his life. Kang Jun pocketed the money, promising proper use, while Bongu shyly offered to treat them to a meal. The man declined, saying his family was waiting, prompting Bongu to rush, not wanting to miss the chance. Bongu pleaded for just one glass of soju, even for half an hour. Kang Jun seemed intrigued by the idea of soju. He again seriously confirmed the drinking plan. Bongu trembled as he confirmed it was indeed soju. Kong Ruon was stunned, then immediately agreed. Kang Jun nostalgically recalled tasting many famous liquors during the Anu Empire. None of them compared to the flavor of this soju. He had tried many times to recreate it, but always failed. With that thought, he hurriedly invited everyone for a drink. The group headed to a nearby tavern. The clinking of glasses marked the start of their drinking session. After a sip, Kang Jun shouted it was the exact taste. He grabbed more food, feeling a rush of excitement. The liquor burned like molten lava, painful yet thrilling for the demon clan, leaving Don So speechless. Bongu, puzzled by their delight, politely asked if they should order more. The silence from across the table made him uneasy. They seemed preoccupied. He followed his own will, signaling for more drinks and soup. The vendor cheerfully went to prepare them. The man looked up and called out to Madame Kua before she disappeared inside. Unexpectedly, he poured out heartfelt thanks for her dedication and told her to take care, leaving her frozen. The blushing woman awkwardly brushed it off, telling him to stop saying weird things and just eat. But he didn't mind, solemnly declaring he would cherish every bite made from her hard work, leaving her speechless. In his heart, he marveled at how that woman created such exquisite dishes with calm devotion, like a living saint. Bongu imagined the tragic past of the tearful man. Kang Jun interrupted, asking why Bongu wasn't eating. Bongu stammered, saying he just ate slowly and clarified his name was Bongu. Kang Jun gently told him to address him casually as Hyung, making him blush and comply. When the time felt right, Bongu gathered courage to ask to become his disciple. Kang Jun firmly refused without hesitation. He sighed, already expecting that outcome. Bongu drained his glass, gathering courage to open up. He began confessing that he used to be an E-rank hunter. Kang Jun inwardly groaned, disliking sob stories, but politely responded. Bongu continued, saying he worked the dangerous job to pay for his mother and sister's treatment. He mentioned a spiritual elixir that could save his mother, making Kang Jun curious. Hearing that, Kang Jun tried to recall if he knew such an elixir. He suddenly remembered the Anu royal family still stored many rare elixirs, while Bongu kept talking. Bongu said the elixir was outrageously expensive, far beyond his means. Kang Jun regretted not bringing one in his luggage. Bongu asked in confusion, but Kang Jun quickly waved it off. He went on, saying he must earn the elixir by his own strength, while Kang Jun looked at him with disdain for his weak body. Bongu shyly admitted he had nearly died many times. He said he'd once been bedridden from injuries but still reached C rank, prompting Kang Jun's sarcastic remark. He sighed regretfully, saying happiness vanished after the gates appeared. He vowed to reclaim his old joy before dying. With tears in his voice, he said he must keep fighting. Unable to hold back, Bongu burst into tears. The sight left Kang Jun awkward, unsure how to respond. But Bongu quickly wiped his tears, shouting his resolve to grow stronger. He choked out that his mother had little time left. He bowed 90 degrees, earnestly begging to be taken as a disciple, promising to do anything. Kang Jun just sighed, amused by a grown man crying in public. Bongu apologized and repeated his name, while Kang Jun sternly told him to stop crying and be confident. Bongu straightened up, agreeing to let him call him Bong Huan. Kang Jun was slightly moved, but asked again if he was truly determined. The boy hurriedly affirmed he'd do anything. Kang Jun briefly recalled the chaos at home and decided to give a warning. He said bluntly the job would be hard cleaning, cooking, even walking the dog, and asked if Bongu could handle it. Though nervous, Bongu firmly claimed he could do everything. Pleased, Kang Jun poured him a drink, calling him the new house helper, saying his sister would have it easier, and hinted at borrowing his identity. He openly stated he wanted to borrow Bongu's hunter license to save registration costs. Kang Jun had already planned to register gate raids under Bongu's name while handling things himself. This way, he could earn money while avoiding attention or fame. He laughed and asked if Bongu minded being the name on record. A nearby girl giggled, saying the scene was adorably funny. Someone next to her jokingly asked the dog where its owner was. The dog lifted its head arrogantly, cursing the rude humans who didn't recognize its noble status, while the two girls chatted about petting it. The short-haired girl reached out, saying it looked gentle and asked to stroke it, but the dog kept acting proud. She didn't mind, stroking its soft fur, making it wag its tail despite feeling humiliated. Then she happily gave it a bone, saying it was a treat from her own dog's snacks. She left afterward, waving goodbye. The dog chewed the bone proudly, thinking it was cheap food, but accepted it out of grace. It imagined a grand meat feast in its mind. It then gnawed the bone obsessively. The pleasure spread through its body, making it moan in delight. That euphoria turned slightly mad, just as Kang Jun walked up, asking what it was doing. Startled, it dropped the bone, sweating, while Kang Jun casually told it to continue. Kang Jun clicked his tongue, noticing Bongu was already drunk after a few drinks. The dog carried Bongu on its back, annoyed, asking if it should kill him, but Kang Jun said just to take him home. The dog frowned, saying Lady Subin wouldn't like it, yet Kang Jun calmly replied they couldn't leave him on the street. Sweating heavily, Bongu was having a nightmare. The dog joked about letting him sleep forever, making Kang Jun tell it not to talk nonsense. He gently placed a hand on Bongu's temple, muttering that he was troublesome, while the dog hesitantly suggested giving him a happy dream instead. It realized Kang Jun was using dream manipulation black magic succubus, a spell he'd only learned basically, but enough to interfere. Kang Jun softly said that at least in dreams, Bongu should have peace. The dream began with a stone skipping across a lake. Bongu looked around in confusion, wondering if he was a child, and a voice answered yes. A blurry man praised him, saying with more training he'd surpass his father, making him cry out, "Father!" His father smiled, recognizing Bongu was now grown, while the boy's heart overflowed with unspoken emotion. The man gently patted his head, saying if he were gone, Bongu must take care of the family. The boy asked why he had to leave, but his father only wished him courage to protect his mother and sister. The father said he believed in his son, but Bongu tearfully said he wasn't strong enough and begged him not to go. The boy hugged his father tightly, promising not to complain anymore, just as a voice called everyone to dinner. Hearing that, Bongu turned around. Before him was a warm family scene, his mother setting dishes, his father drinking beer, and Zuhai smiling happily. His father cheerfully said they should go out like this more often. His mother agreed and called Bongu to join them. He stood still, overwhelmed, softly calling out to his parents. His mother asked why he wasn't eating his favorite curry. Was it not good? With tears, Bongu said no, it was just too delicious it hurt. He choked up softly, saying, "Mom, Dad, Zuhi." He smiled gently, assuring them to trust him. He lifted his head confidently, declaring himself the family's support. Bongu vowed their family would regain happiness. Then he sat alone by the fire until a voice called him to wake up, saying dried fish soup was ready. Hearing that, Bongu startled awake. A voice suggested ending the sleeping man's life, but another scolded it, saying to wait and eat together. The man on the bed smiled faintly and stated his name. He turned away and left without looking back. Light from the ceiling flashed, making his eyes sting and his head ache. Kang Jun kindly asked Seol if she enjoyed the meal. The little girl sitting in his lap politely said it was delicious. Staring at the strange scene, Bongu was shocked, wondering where he was and what was happening in the rain. He guessed this was Kang Jun's home, where he was playing with his little daughter, gently touching her cheek and saying she was as adorable as her father. Suddenly, Kang Jun coldly glanced at Bongu, asking if he was awake. He sternly questioned what Bongu had seen, and the startled boy admitted he saw everything. Kang Jun pressed for details. Bongu honestly said he saw from the princess appearance to the girl being praised as resembling her father. Hearing that, Kang Jun's eyes turned dangerous, intending to silence him, while Bongu naively thought he was just embarrassed. Bongu shivered, thinking no one would kill over such shame, but Kang Jun's face suggested he might. Just then, a voice complained about the smell of alcohol. Subin stood at the door, reminding them it was morning and Bongu had just woken, making him rejoice for escaping death. She gently offered him dried fish soup to sober up. Bongu thanked her, silently grateful for being saved. As breakfast was served, Subin curiously asked if his name was Bong Trang. Bongu blushed and corrected her. It was Bongu making Subin apologize. He said it was fine. He eagerly ate to erase his drunk image, praising the dish and realizing why Kang Jun always looked forward to meals. Kang Jun frowned, correcting that Subin was his elder sister, shocking Bongu. He told him to just eat, and Bongu obediently did so, silently scolding himself for his slip. Subin softly said the two looked close like brothers, and Bongu wondered if that was really true. She suddenly asked him to look after Kang Jun for a while. Bongu was stunned, asking again in disbelief, his mind spinning. He recalled facing A-rank hunters and high demons, yet now he was asked to watch over someone. He glanced at Kang Jun, uneasy, thinking she wanted him to monitor a real monster. Subin worriedly explained Kang Jun had once been trapped in a teleportation gate and only recently returned. Bongu suddenly remembered something crucial. He was the survivor mentioned in the news, someone who might have gained mysterious power from that gate. Kang Jun ate while denying the rumor of being trapped, but Subin brought up how he was once called a king somewhere. Bongu froze, confused by the title king. Kang Jun declared he was not just a king, but an emperor, while Subin said there was little difference, prompting him to protest that even kings wouldn't dare look him in the eye. Don So smiled, addressing him as Your Majesty, asking if he remembered the rebel king Baratheon, making Bongu realize he too was strange. He spoke of a man who dared look the emperor in the eye and was beheaded, sending chills down Bongu's spine as he grasped who was meant. Subin worried Kang Jun was suffering psychological effects from the incident, but Bongu calmly said he understood. He eagerly praised Kang Jun as truly imperial and accidentally called Don Soi the prime minister, who corrected that he was just a bookseller. Subin gently asked Bongu to help Kang Jun adapt to normal life. Bongu firmly agreed, promising to do his best, easing Subin's concern. She turned to Don Zoe, asking if he wanted a part-time job, and he puzzledly asked what Arupa meant. Subin explains that the nearby convenience store is hiring and suggests he apply. Don Zoe politely refuses, wanting to stay with His Majesty, but Kang Jun interrupts. Kang Jun sternly orders him to take the job to learn Earth's culture, thinking it'll keep him occupied. Don Zoe nervously calls out Your Majesty, while Kang Jun coldly reminds him of his dream to build an empire on Earth. Don Zoe nods and Kang Jun asks if understanding the local culture is necessary for that goal. Kang Jun assigns the task as part of the Empire plan, telling him to work at the convenience store for training. His face shows shock at the sudden situation. Don Zoe suddenly stands and declares it a loyalty test from His Majesty. He kneels, begging for mercy, while Kang Jun sighs and tries to calm him. Don Zoe continues shouting wildly, unable to grasp His Majesty's true intent. He vows to complete the mission and attend the interview, while Kang Jun quietly watches. Satya von Zek Grafsley Don Zoe decides to begin the part-time trial job. Kang Jun coldly orders Bongu to wash the dishes, even though he's a guest. Bongu agrees, while Subin worriedly turns on the TV showing reports of possible portals. Bongu watches as the host warns about frequent portal activity in Seoul and nearby areas. The report advises residents to stay alert since portals absorb living beings within 1-2 kilometers. The Academic Association warns that areas south of the Han River are at high risk, worrying Subin about her home. Bongu reassures her not to panic, saying everything will be fine. Seola excitedly cheers upon seeing a puppy. She hugs and pulls the puppy close, about to kiss it. Kang Jun's face darkens as he warns her not to do that. He scolds that the dog is dirty and dangerous, inwardly thinking it should be eliminated. Seola repeats, "Eliminate it now?" making the puppy frightened. Subin smacks Kang Jun's shoulder, telling him not to hurt pets in front of the child. After that, Kang Jun hesitates, unsure whether to treat the animal as human, fearing the girl's misunderstanding. The girl innocently says she'll pet the dog to calm it down. The confused puppy looks up, softening Kang Jun's heart. Seola's pure and innocent face appears full of charm. She opens her arms happily, making Kang Jun's heart ache. He gently lifts her, thinking the world is too cruel for children. With a warm gaze, he smiles and says, "He's not a hero, just wants to make the world a bit better." The next day, Kang Jun hands Subin an envelope telling her to use the money. Subin worriedly asks where the large sum came from, and Kang Jun calmly says it's 5 million won. He explains it was already in his account, likely savings from before his disappearance. Subin tears up, admitting she's been struggling financially lately. She thanks her brother for helping her through the hard times, and he smiles warmly. Subin excitedly promises to cook a delicious dinner and asks what he wants. Kang Jun says anything is fine. She suggests going to the supermarket and playground with Seola, but Kang Jun refuses, wanting to rest. He thinks that with Grabsley accompanying them, both mother and daughter will be safe. Subin happily agrees. Don Zoe loudly declares hell go, while Subin tells Kang Jun to rest well. Kang Jun smiles, pleased his plan is going smoothly. He suddenly recalls a place he once saw and decides to revisit it alone. He remembers a familiar cafe he used to visit before vanishing for centuries. The scene shifts to a crowded shopping mall. Donzo excitedly calls Subin over after spotting a free tasting booth. He joyfully eats, praising it as paradise for offering free delicious food. Subin covers her face in defeat as he even feeds Seola samples. The girl tastes it and shouts in delight at how good it is. Don Zoe munches happily, shouting "Eat forever," making Seola laugh and copy him. He feeds her another bite, and the three share a simple joy at the tasting booth. Don Zoe keeps eating eagerly despite the staff's annoyed looks. Subin sighs and asks the staff to pack a bag of snacks to take home. A warning alarm sounds in the mall, announcing a large portal near Slim Sagari. A staff member casually mentions the new Hunter x Hunter chapter still isn't out. Kang Jun turns pale and confused, pondering the true meaning behind the announcement. An older worker says he believed the chapter would be released back when he enlisted 3 years ago. A customer complains that the wait feels like hundreds of years, not just a few. Another nervously agrees and starts promoting a currently popular series. Meanwhile, Kang Jun quietly reads a book. He pauses, staring at the title, sensing a link to Bongu. Flipping through pages, he notices a weak character with a life similar to Bongus. He wonders if this coming-of-age genre is truly engaging and grows curious. He gets irritated seeing a powerful mage defeated too easily. Annoyed, he throws the book down, calling the scene unrealistic for such a strong character. Kang Jun sighs, feeling the supermarket trip was pointless, recalling his long past. Exhausted thoughts pull him into sleep, where old nightmares return. Memories of Iriel, the powerful empress, resurface, filling him with sorrow and longing. He wonders what happened to his loyal followers after all the chaos. An urgent supermarket alert reports a large spatial gate near Shinlim intersection, urging customers to evacuate to the shelter. Subin worries about Kang Jun being home alone, but Don Zoe quickly reassures her that his master will be fine. He quietly explains that Kang Jun is nearly immortal and immune to normal weapons. Subin steps back in shock as Don So says scholars spent centuries trying to let Kang Jun rest in peace but failed. He recalls Kang Jun once saying, "Find a way to give me eternal sleep," and lists the attempted methods. The first was to throw himself from the world tree at the edge of space. Donzo shrugs, saying only the tree broke while Kang Jun remained unharmed, even descending to hell to test fire. After a month with no result, he left in frustration. Laughing, Donzo remembers Kang Jun drinking deadly poison daily yet growing healthier. Subin, still worried, asks if his home is far from Shinlim intersection and safe. Don Zoe assures her he's safe as long as he stays inside, recalling the master's order to keep his absence secret. His hesitant reply raises Subin's suspicion, but she insists Kang Jun is surely fine at home. Suddenly, an announcement declares the gate a disaster-level event. Shocking everyone, Subin silently prays it won't spread. She recalls a similar gate 3 years ago that wiped out an entire nation. Subin hugs Seola tightly, comforting her that everything will be okay. Meanwhile, Kang Jun awakens in a cold, terrifying place, realizing he's dreaming. A message appears. He has entered Spatial Gate, Holy Land of Dutan, leaving him confused. Regaining composure, he deduces he was sucked into the gate near the comic store. Kang Jun thinks of his sister and niece, believing they're safe with Don Zoe nearby. He stretches, intrigued, viewing this as a free chance to explore a new gate. Smugly, he thinks he's lucky to get a free trip just by sleeping. Calmly, he walks deeper into the gate, treating it as entertainment. 3 hours later outside, hunters battle a massive monster. Gi-hun, the 10th-ranked S-class hunter, attacks non-stop but can't bring it down. The crowd anxiously watches, amazed by Gi-hun's struggle against the terrifying beast. Rimthos roars and slams his staff at the enemy. Ji-hun's dodge stuns everyone, proving his S-class skill. The other hunters freeze, admitting they'd be dead without Ji-hun. Cheers erupt for the swordsman Ku Ji-hun. Ji-hun clutches his chest, his body on the verge of collapse. Bongu notices Ji-hun's severe injury and worries as dozens of monsters remain. He wonders if, even after victory, Ji-hun could still face the leader. Ji-hun closes his eyes, remembering his crushing defeat 3 years ago. Before he can think further, the ground shakes violently. The system announces all giants have been exterminated, stunning Bongu. Rimthos swells to enormous size, forcing hunters to look up. The leading monster is about to appear. System alert. Guardian of the Jotun tribe, Rimthos, has appeared. He roars, declaring himself a messenger of the gods and protector of Niev Lehem. Rimthos solemnly vows to punish those who trespass upon the Holy Land. His roar makes the hunters fall to their knees. He grabs one person, demanding to know who entered Jotun territory with them. Despite his wounds, Ji-hun wonders about the enemy's true intent. He rises and counterattacks, seriously injuring Rimthos. Enraged, Rimthos demands the hidden intruder reveal himself. He threatens to slaughter everyone, leaving Bongu in despair. Bongu bows in fear, trembling and begging for his life. He turns and runs, screaming for his lover, Ju-hai. He sprints frantically, believing he still has a chance to survive. But he's struck down painfully, crying for help. Rimthos approaches, mocking human weakness. He declares no prey has ever escaped his grasp. Bongu collapses in despair, unwilling to die meaninglessly. A sudden blast of energy strikes Rimthos, forcing him to turn. Bongu is stunned, not understanding what just happened. A swarm of red beasts is summoned, terrifying him. Bongu realizes in horror they're all demonic creatures. Kang Jun appears, surprised to see Bongu still alive. Kang Jun greets him cheerfully, as if meeting an old friend. Bongu, bewildered, asks why he appeared from there. Forgetting his fear, he's only curious about Kang Jun's presence. Kang Jun sits casually, saying it's pure coincidence and seems happy to reunite. Bongu suddenly suspects Kang Jun is the one who wiped out the monsters. Rimthos grows uneasy, stepping back cautiously. He screams in fear as his kin's eyes turn rebellious. Rimthos cries to the gods, questioning why his faith is betrayed. Bongu recalls Rimthos' earlier words, suspecting Kang Jun is the one they seek. Rimthos furiously accuses him of disturbing his comrade's eternal rest, shocking Bongu. Rimthos charges in rage, vowing no mercy. Panicking, Bongu begs Kang Jun to run because the foe is too strong. Kang Jun coldly replies, "Hell fight to the end rather than flee." Bongu grows even more confused by his calmness. The monsters rush in together, but Kang Jun remains still. He looks up, smirks, and asks if they know who he truly is. Rimthos doesn't answer, attacking violently. While striking, he shouts that he knows exactly who stands before him. He says the Dothon tribe and the Stitched God are all watching Kang Jun. Bongu trembles, fearing for both their lives. Kang Jun speaks in a low voice. A god. Rimthos arrogantly declares that the gods are judging the one who dares take that title. Kang Jun begins to doubt, reflecting on everything so far. He recalls witnessing countless so-called gods fall before him. Those once called lords couldn't withstand even a few blows from him. He suddenly realizes the boredom of his immortal life. Then he prays, wishing a true god would finally appear before him. Kang Jun stares coldly at Rimthos and asks, "Do you think any god is stronger than me?" Winter sternly warns that Kang Jun is blaspheming before the apostle of the stitched god. Kang Jun raises his hand, coldly saying to tell that God, if they meet, he will die. He stands high above, gathering immense energy in his palm. Winters and his comrades tense up at the impending surge of power. A twisted, terrifying creature is summoned by Kang Jun. Bongu trembles in disbelief at what he's seeing. It's a six-eyed monster created solely to fight Rimthos. Han gapes, unable to comprehend the horror before him. The creature charges instantly, leaving no time to react. Rimthos is blasted far away by the powerful strike. Kang Jun smirks and mocks, asking if his opponent still believes his god stronger. Rimthos is too stunned to speak. With arms crossed, he repeats the question, forcing his foe to admit their inferiority. Winters screams helplessly, unable to respond. Bongu is horrified by the brutal scene, while Kang Jun jokes not to speak ill or the dead may rise again, hinting at his revival spell. The six-eyed monster delivers another blow, shaking the ground. Bongu remarks Rimthos must be obliterated, while Kang Jun compares the fight to a game with Slim. Bongu asks what Slim is, and Kang Jun calmly says it's just an example of creativity and reflex, then laughs. He says to mix the Zutun tribe's materials together, then stir with magic until thick. After that, shape it however you want, and it's done. Kang Jun proudly shows his creation to Bongu. He points at the patched golem he made, asking how it looks. He urges for a score. Bongu awkwardly comments on its odd style, making Kang Jun praise his taste. He coldly glances back at Rimthos, mocking that the weak only talk, worrying Bongu about his brother's true power. Suddenly, Kang Jun snaps his fingers, still unfazed. The six-eyed creature vanishes, leaving Bongu stunned by his might. Bongu grows even more awed, believing his brother is truly a mighty emperor who destroys foes effortlessly. A system message flashes. Level up. Notification. You have slain Rimthos, guardian of the Holy Land of Dutun. The Jotun spatial gate will vanish in 1 hour. New achievement unlocked. Rank A, Terror of the Giants. The Stitched God now officially regards you as an enemy. The entire divine realm of the Asgard constellation declares war on you. Your presence has reached a terrifying level. Kang Jun shrugs after reading, coldly saying gods may come if they dare, then pauses suddenly. Among the messages, 2 lines catch his eye. The summoning condition for the packed beast Israel is complete. He realizes he can now call forth Iriel, the legendary companion. Kang Jun excitedly spreads his arms and chants to summon Queen of the Abyss Iriel. He shouts loudly as his mana surges, "Answer my call!" From the magic circle emerges a female figure radiating dark, majestic energy. Bongu shields his face, both scared and curious, asking his brother, "What is that?" Iriel bows gracefully and addresses him with reverence. "Master." She raises her head, her elegant face stunning everyone who sees her. Her red eyes glisten with emotion as she looks at Kang Jun. Bongu freezes for a moment, awestruck by her beauty, while Kang Jun smiles happily and greets her warmly. Iriel immediately rushes toward him without hesitation. She embraces Kang Jun tightly, her trembling yet gentle voice saying, "Master."